He told authorities he had been planning his commando raid for a year after he says hearing Jones claim that the ritual infant sacrifice was taking place there. He asked me about this, and I said, my film is on record that it's an effigy of a child, and we've never said they're killing a real person. I gave him the video. He didn't care. He implies I'm saying it. I explained McCaslin had been in the Marine Corps in Force Recon and was obviously out of his gourd and sending me weird hand-drawn comic books, and that he'd worked at Six Flags playing the part of Spider-Man, and that he tried to come around. I'd refused to meet with him. He then moved out to California in what looked like a staged event in the middle of winter, dressed up with a bunch of weapons, and went out there and set fire to a trash can and then waited for the police. Looks like a staged event. But see, that's all distortion. He knows you don't have all that background, so this guy can manipulate you. He wants to be a psychologist so he can have power over people. How many psychologists have been caught doing weird stuff to their patients? The war continues. In a video promoting the Obama deception, Jones urges, we know who they are, we know what they are, we know what has to be done, implying I'm calling for violence when I was calling for political, peaceful action right after that in the film. A total deception from this piece of trash. All right, he's with us about 15 minutes in the next hour. Then we got Wayne Madsen with big breaking news coming up. It's Max Keiser. Max, of course, is the inventor of the Hollywood Stock Exchange system. He's also a TV host on BBC, Russia Today, Press TV, 3 different TV shows this year, weekly TV shows. He also has a radio show in London, and he is a frequent guest here at good old Infowars.com and on the radio show. And I'm excited that Jesse Ventura's crew is also interviewing him coming up soon for the new TV show, Conspiracy Theory, that I'm also in and a consultant on. So a lot going on, and I'm glad I've been introduced to Max Keiser's big international audience, and I'm excited to introduce him to our audience. I think it's a great event that's happening. This is a short segment. We'll come back in a long one and cover a lot of other issues, but commodities starting to go up, gold exploding, the media lying, saying the economy's good, underwear sales are up for men. They say that's always an indicator of a economy going up. What do you really see happening with this economy? I see the tens of trillions of dollars the banks have hoarded starting to trickle out and cause some action, but overall, jobless rates, unemployment, the Rust Belt. I mean, the real economy, what I see, is falling apart. What does Max Keiser, with all of his economic acumen and gravitas, tell us?
The reason underwear sales are up for men is because a lot of men are making doo-doo in their pants. The economy is so bad.
I was going to say that, but I didn't.
They got no job, they got no prospects, and they're incontinent. So they get out of the store and they buy some fresh underwear, but they can't keep in stock because the economy is so bad. You got a president who thinks he's starring in The West Wing Part 2. I don't even think he knows he's the president. I think he's trying to get an Emmy Award. In 4 years' time, they're going to give him an Emmy Award. He won't even know he was in the White House. It's a complete joke. You've got the capitalism is failing. You've got systemic collapse. So naturally, gold is pushing $1,000 again. And let's talk about gold for a second, Alex Jones, because I was in Germany making a film about gold at the Bundesbank, which is the central bank of Germany, which acts more or less as the central bank of Europe. We went in there, we talked to them about gold, and they told us that, and I mentioned to them, I asked them, where is most of your gold? And they said, well, you know, our gold is held in New York. And this created a huge international uproar, which got the attention of a lot of gold.
Exactly. I saw that. And again, that's just you as a real journalist asking a real question. Then you ask New York, and they say Germany's got our gold.
Right. Well, what's come out, and if you go to sites like the Gold Action Trust Action Committee and other sites that track the gold markets, Germany has been complicit in this scheme to keep the gold price down. And them, along with the Wall Street banks, they lease out or lend gold to be sold in the open market with a wink and a nod, and because they know that they're going to keep selling this gold into the market to force the price down, to give these banks easy or riskless profits as part of the collusion between the central banks and the Wall Street banks. So this so-called growth you're talking about is all based on market manipulation. These stocks like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and these other financial stocks are up big because basically it's the government buying stock for themselves. They're laundering money. All those TARP funds and all those bailout funds that they were on the receiving end after Paulson held Congress hostage. They now have to figure out how to launder that money, just like any mafia kingpin has to launder the money. So they go into the stock market, they buy these bank stocks, they suck in the public buys into it. CNBC and Jim Cramer stomps up and down, says, buy bank stocks, buy the market. The suckers come in again, they launder the money, then they're out. So once again, the public is being hoodwinked. The
and is that, well, Max, you said months ago, Bob Chapman said months ago, Ron Paul said months ago, all our experts here said the same thing. In fact, 6 months ago, people like Bob Chapman wrote it and on record that they would first run the market down to 6,000, then run it back up 10, 11, 12, or even higher as a suckers rally, and that they would do that by the big central banks, dumping all the money they'd stolen from taxpayers into the market, and that it was completely rigged, and that they would then plunge it even further. Is the plunging we're seeing the start of that, or is this just a hiccup? Will it continue to go up before they really rape the slaves?
Look, the people are on the short end of the stick. And on your show, Alex, I have talked about the casino gulag economy, about the only way that they're going to keep these suckers rolling is to introduce more gambling in the United States. And sure enough, in Kansas, the heartland of America, just announced that they're going to start introducing gambling. Why? Because there's no other way to stimulate the economy than vice. You know, the mafia makes tons of money selling gambling, sex, and money laundering and other, murder for hire and these other activities. This is what the local governments, the municipal governments, and the federal government knows. The only way they can raise money is to get into the gambling business. So now Kansas is going to go gambling. You're going to see gambling all over the...
Not only will the state now, as you predicted, allow gambling, they're going to own it. That's the Associated Press. Revenue-hungry Kansas will be owner of new casinos. Max Keiser, MaxKeiser.com is our guest. I'm Alex Jones. Our websites are Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.tv. And we'll be right back with Max Keiser, the one, the only.